Welcome in to the Ravens Rundown, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Happy to have you with us. On today's show, we are on to Cincinnati as we get you set for the Baltimore Ravens matchup with the Cincinnati Bengals in the AFC Wild Card round. We'll tell you everything you need to know, including keys to victory, the injury report. I'll have my prediction coming up at the end of the show as well. Before we do, though, if you want the Ravens to beat the Bengals, I need you to do your part. I need you to go ahead and like today's video. Don't jinx it. If you like the video, that increases the Ravens' chances of winning. It's science. You got to trust the science. Smash that like button. We'll get started with today's show. Let's begin first with looking at the AFC playoff picture, as the Chiefs have the bye with being the number one overall seed, so that sets up super wild card weekend with the Bills and Dolphins, the Bengals and the Ravens, the Jags, and the Chargers for this first week. In this matchup, these teams just saw each other a week ago as the Bengals got the best of Baltimore, but some notable players for the Ravens did not play in that game. And you go back a couple months ago, the Ravens got the win against Cincinnati in what was a really good football game that came down to the wire, a Justin Tucker game-winning field goal. So now, let's see what happens here between these two teams. Who is going to win the rubber match in advance to the divisional round of the AFC playoffs? Now, you can bet on this game, courtesy of the exclusive sportsbook partner of Chat Sports, BetUS, and you can do so using the promo code CHAT125 for a 125% deposit bonus. Put $100 down to get $125 to spend for free at chatsports.com/bet. And I got to tell you, just looking at these odds and everything, the way things stack up, the Ravens are an underdog at -7 for Cincinnati, the over-under at 43.5. What are you guys feeling? There's some value on the Ravens there. If you want to bet on your Ravens, you can get your bets in now at chatsports.com/bet, or you can bet on that over-under at 43.5, whatever you're feeling. Who do you got? What are you betting on? Let me know in the comments section. Type BAL for the Ravens. If you're betting on the Bengals, type CIN for Cincinnati, and let me know in the comments section below. So obviously the big topic of this game is the status of Lamar Jackson. Will he play? Will he not play Sunday against Cincy? And the most recent reports indicate that his status seems unlikely at this point that we will see Lamar on the football field. According to ESPN's Adam Schefter on Wednesday, he tweeted out 38 days after he sprained his PCL, Ravens QB Lamar Jackson missed another practice, and he is on track to miss his 6th straight game. On Monday, we heard from John Harbaugh. John Harbaugh said, Lamar's been in great spirits. He's been working super hard. He's out there again. I don't watch the workouts with the trainers. Hopefully, he's progressing to the point where he can practice sometime soon. That's really what we're all hoping for sure. When we have something to report on, we will. And NFL Network's Jim Trotter put out a report this week that said where Lamar is at with this knee, with this PCL injury, that even if Lamar was ready to go, if he was cleared to play by doctors, that this injury would not allow him to be his full self. We're all used to seeing Lamar Jackson run and scramble out of the pocket, but he would be limited on what he would be able to do, that he wouldn't be his normal self even if he was allowed back on the football field with where this injury is at. That's not the only injury, though, for the Ravens. Gus Edwards coming off a concussion that he suffered last week against the Bengals. Marcus Peters dealing with a calf issue. Brandon Stevens with an illness. And then there's Tyler Huntley as well with that shoulder injury. So we'll see how ultimately things stack up. Not looking great for Lamar's chances to play against Cincinnati at this point, but we shall see what happens. What say you? What's your gut tell you? Does a miracle happen? Do we see a way for Lamar Jackson to play on Sunday against Cincinnati in a win-or-go-home scenario? Let me know in the comments section. Y for yes, in for no, if Lamar Jackson will play against Cincy. Now let's go ahead and get to my keys to victory. What's it going to take for the Ravens to beat Cincinnati and move on to the divisional round? Well, first, let's talk about starting fast. And I know that a big theme for this year, when you look at this Baltimore Ravens team, has been about finishing football games, right? And we've talked about it all season long about this team struggling to capitalize in the fourth quarter and blowing double-digit leads. That's been an ongoing theme. Well, as of late, the bigger issue has not been that. It's been them getting off to slow starts. And comparably speaking, what the Bengals do. Overall, the Ravens average about 4 points in the first quarter for the season. But as of late, the last 3 games, only 1 point is what they're averaging in the last 3 games. You compare that to the Bengals, who get off to a pretty good start. Their number, better overall for the season at 5.9. But in the last 3 games, their number is even higher than that at 7.3. So even just by the last 3 games, essentially you're looking at ending the first quarter with the Bengals having a touchdown advantage. So it goes both ways. Not only does the offense need to do its part and get going right away, but the defense has got to get those 3 and outs and establish things right from the jump as well. Number 2 for my keys to a Ravens win is establishing the run game. And what we've seen out of J.K. Dobbins since he returned within the last few weeks has been nothing short of spectacular. He did sit out last week, but it looks like he should be able to give it a full go this week. And in those 4 games that he's played, my goodness, he's averaging close to 100 yards rushing in those 4 games, with 93 against Pittsburgh in Week 17, Week 16 against the Falcons. He had about 59 yards on the ground. And then Week 15 and 14, back-to-back 120-plus yard days. He has been a beast running the football. And we don't know about Gus Edwards with that concussion we talked about, but whether it's Kenyon Drake or Justice Hill, whoever it may be, the Ravens are going to need to run the football well, not just J.K. Dobbins. They're going to need other guys to do their part as well. Prediction time. How far will the Ravens go in the postseason? Is this it? Are they one and done? Are they going to make it all the way to the Super Bowl? What say you? Let me know in the comment section where you think the Ravens will end up this postseason. Number 3 on our keys to victory for the Ravens is getting pressure on Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow has been one of the best quarterbacks in the National Football League the last couple of seasons, taking the Bengals to the Super Bowl. And I think the most impressive part about all of that with Joe Burrow in the last couple of years is he's done it with an awful offensive line that gives up a lot of sacks. And if you're Baltimore, you have an opportunity here to capitalize on the weakness that is the offensive line of Cincinnati. Joe Burrow's been sacked 41 times this year. That's the 6th highest in the NFL. And remember, they only played 16 regular season games compared to everybody else that played 17. So something to keep in mind there. The numbers, Justin Houston has been unbelievable. He's found the fountain of youth this year with 9.5 sacks. You can see the other guys as well. This has been a really good unit when it comes to getting pressure. They are going to have to get a lot of pressure on Joe Burrow, put him into some uncomfortable situations, and capitalize on that if they want to get the victory on Sunday. So here's what I want to do, folks. Go ahead and get in the comment section. And for every time you send an individual comment that says, "Go Ravens," that equals 1 sack on Joe Burrow. So if you think the Ravens are going to get just 1 sack on Joe Burrow, just comment at 1 time. If you think they'll get 5 sacks on Joe Burrow, then comment it 5 different times. Whatever you feel. This is your time to get a prediction, get some good vibes going for the pass rush. Spam "Go Ravens" in the comments, and let's see how many sacks the Ravens defense can get on Joey B. Make sure to join us on Sunday for the 2nd ever Ravens Rundown Watch Party here on the channel. It is going to be a fantastic time with the Ravens taking on the Bengals. We're going to get started about 30 minutes prior to the game, and then we will dive in and react to the game in real time, have a few drinks on hand too, a little post-game show. It is going to be a treat. If you've never been a part of our watch parties before here at Chat Sports, you are in for quite the experience. Make sure to be here. Join us. Coming up on Sunday, Ravens and Bengals Watch Party live right here on the channel. You will not want to miss it. couple more keys to victory for Baltimore. Let's start with Mark Andrews here. Mark Andrews has to play well, and I know that is almost a given at the extent of where this Ravens team is at this year, of the damage that has been done to the receiving corps with all the injuries they endured, with the status of Lamar Jackson, of him likely not playing, and how that situation goes. Mark Andrews, no matter who is the quarterback, has to be a dependable target of some sorts, because everyone else, it's been so unreliable that you can't count on. Has this been Mark Andrews' best year? No, it hasn't. But Mark Andrews, I would say right now, when you take Lamar Jackson out of the equation, Mark Andrews is the most important player on this roster. And Mark Andrews has to play well just for this team to have a chance. If Mark Andrews doesn't play good, then the Ravens have no shot. It has to start with Mark Andrews just for this team to have a possible shot at winning this football game. Last but not least, on keys to victory for the Ravens, is winning the turnover battle. That is going to be crucial. And credit to the Ravens. They've done a good job of forcing takeaways and also winning the turnover battle for the most part. As you can see, the three main categories, the Ravens are in the top 10 in all three statistics. Turnover margin at 0.2, that's ninth in the NFL. Giveaways a game, 1.2, that's eighth best in the league. Takeaways at 1.5, that's ninth best in the league. And like we talked about earlier, of trying to force Joe Burrow into mistakes, you need every extra possession you can possibly get while taking care of business your own right as well. Have to win the turnover battle. So, before I reveal my pick of how this game will play out, name an MVP. Who's going to get the job done for the Ravens against the Bengals on Sunday? Who is that guy to lead this team to a Ravens win? Let me know. Give me one name. Whether it's somebody we talked about or somebody we have not talked about, let me know in the comments section who you think that guy is that will lead the Ravens to a win on Sunday. To recap, keys to victory: got to start fast, got to establish the run with J.K. Dobbins, got to get pressure on Joe Burrow and company. Mark Andrews has to play exceptionally well, and you got to win the turnover battle. With all that said, though, folks, I'm going with the Bengals. I have Cincinnati winning this game 27-20. With Lamar likely not playing this game, I can't envision a scenario where the Ravens take down Cincinnati without Lamar Jackson. To me, I think that's just too tall of a hill to climb at this point. They could make it an interesting game. They could be competitive. But with all the injuries that we've talked about, and Lamar also likely not playing in this game, I just don't see a path to victory. If something changes, if Lamar does end up playing in this game, they got a shot. But with where things stand right now, I don't feel good about the Ravens' chances. As always, you can interact with me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Tyler Jones Live. Join us for the watch party. You will not want to miss it. We will see you then. Thanks for joining us here on the Ravens Rundown.